Some days, the mind races before your feet touch the floor. Thoughts spiral. The world feels too fast, too loud. Your breath shortens, your chest tightens, and you wonder, why can't I just feel okay? But the truth is, it's not that you're broken. It's that your awareness is pointed in the wrong direction. Buddhism teaches, what you focus on grows, and gratitude is how you remember, not what's missing, but what's real. Not what hurts, but what holds. Gratitude is not a cliché. It is not a toxic positivity trick. It is a shift in perception, a sacred discipline. It's looking directly at the chaos and saying, even now, I choose to notice what remains steady. Even when your thoughts flood, even when the world disappoints you, you still have breath. You still have a sky above you. You still have the miracle of choosing where your mind rests. And that choice, over and over, is where calm begins. If you've ever felt drowned by your own overthinking, if your mind feels louder than your life, pause, breathe, stay. Because what you're about to hear is not just advice. It's a shift in how you see the world, a return to presence, a path back to peace, built through gratitude and grounded awareness. If you're ready to live with more stillness, to protect your inner calm, and to rise above the noise, then this space is for you. Subscribe to Echoing Zen and tap the bell so you don't miss a single step on your journey inward. The peace you seek begins now. Your mind is trained to notice what's wrong, not because it's broken, but because it's trying to protect you. But protection without perspective becomes paranoia. Buddhism teaches, when the mind fixates on fear, the heart forgets to open. Gratitude reopens the heart, not by denying what hurts, but by expanding what's true. You don't need everything to be perfect to feel thankful. You just need to pause and look again. That sip of water, that breath you didn't notice, that silence between worries. They're not small, they're sacred. In Buddhist practice, gratitude isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you practice to feel, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's when the mind is most fragile and most moldable. You learn to whisper, thank you, not to pretend things are okay, but to remember you are. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this awareness that I can begin again. That is how calm enters, not with force, but with reverence. Some people wait for peace to arrive before they feel grateful, but the wise learn, gratitude is how peace arrives. Every time you choose to say thank you, even when your mind resists, you soften the grip of anxiety. You return from the future's fear. You detach from the past's weight. You step into presence, and in presence, the mind can finally rest. So don't chase peace, create it, with every quiet breath of thanks. When anxiety rises, it demands attention. It wants you to chase thoughts, fix feelings, predict everything. But what if instead you paused and noticed the ground beneath your feet, the warmth of your hands, the stillness in the room? Buddhist monks call this returning to the immediate. It means waking up to now and realizing the present is rarely as dangerous as the mind makes it seem. Gratitude anchors you there, gently, fully. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is this: suffering often comes not from what is, but from our resistance to it. Gratitude doesn't erase pain. It gives you space within it. It opens the tight grip of control. It allows your breath to move again. And with every breath, something softens. Maybe not everything is good, but something is. And that's where you start. Think of gratitude like a candle in a dark room. It doesn't need to erase all the darkness. It just needs to be lit. When you say thank you, even in brokenness, you're lighting that candle. You're reminding your mind, there is light, there is stillness, there is peace, even here, even now. That single thought can begin to change your entire inner world. The mind is a story machine. It replays what went wrong. It rehearses what might go wrong. But Buddhism teaches, you are not the stories. You are the space they move through. Gratitude expands that space. It reminds you that between one fearful thought and the next, you can place a moment of stillness, a single thank you. And that's enough to interrupt the cycle. Sometimes you'll forget to be grateful. That's okay. Gratitude is not about perfection, it's about remembering. And remembering is a return, noticing a soft breeze, the sound of distant birds, the way your breath keeps showing up no matter how distracted you've been. These aren't distractions from your anxiety, they are the doorway out of it. The most peaceful people aren't the ones with the quietest lives. They're the ones who've learned how to quiet their minds, wherever they are. Gratitude is their anchor. It doesn't require wealth or silence or success. It only asks for attention, noticing what hasn't left you, noticing what is still enough. And slowly, the noise inside begins to soften. Not because it disappeared, but because you stopped fueling it. In Buddhist practice, we don't wait for a calm life to create a calm mind. We create a calm mind to live more freely in any kind of life. Gratitude helps you reframe. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this moment asking me to see?" Even struggle holds lessons. Even discomfort points inward. And when you meet the moment with presence, you don't just survive it, you grow from it. There's a quiet kind of power in people who are grateful for little things. They're not naive, they're deeply trained. They've learned that when nothing feels certain, the smallest signs of beauty become sacred. A warm cup of tea, a kind glance, a breath that doesn't rush. Gratitude doesn't blind you to pain, it opens you to grace in the middle of it. Sometimes the loudest anxiety is about what might happen. The future spins out like a storm. But Buddhism teaches, the future is not here, and most of what you fear won't arrive the way your mind imagines. Gratitude pulls you from future fantasy back into present reality. It asks, what is okay right now? Not perfect, not complete, just okay. And in that okayness, there is rest. When life becomes loud, it's tempting to believe you need to do more, fix more, rush more. But often, what you truly need is less. Less forcing, less chasing, less analyzing. Gratitude invites you to stop solving and start witnessing, to pause, even for a moment, and acknowledge, I may not have everything, but I am not empty. There is air in my lungs. There is a sky that hasn't fallen. There is something in me still steady, even if I haven't noticed it lately. This awareness is not a luxury. It's survival for the soul. In the Buddhist tradition, even monks with nothing to their names begin each morning with thanks. Not for possessions, but for presence. Not for outcomes, but for aliveness. What if you did the same, before checking your phone, before picking up your worries? What if your first thought was, I am still here, I am still breathing, I am still capable of beginning again? Gratitude is not a final destination. It's a habit of returning to stillness, to breath, to life itself. The more you thank the present, the less power the past holds. Anxiety often grows from unhealed stories. But when you choose to notice beauty, even small, even quiet, those old stories begin to fade. You remember that you are not your memories. You are not your mistakes. You are the one who sees them, feels them, and still chooses peace. That choice, made again and again, becomes your strength. Sometimes the mind resists gratitude. It says, what's the point? It says, things are still hard. And that's okay. You don't need to silence the resistance. You just need to speak to it differently. Buddhist wisdom doesn't argue with the mind. It redirects it. It says, yes, this moment is messy. Yes, there is uncertainty. And also, there is breath. There is light on the wall. There is the softness of your own hand. You don't need everything to change to feel grateful. You just need to notice what hasn't left. And in that noticing, peace grows. Slowly, quietly, but surely. You made it here, through the noise, through the doubts. You stayed, you listened, you breathed. And maybe now, your mind feels just a little bit softer. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you paused. Because you opened space for a different voice. Buddhism reminds us, when you thank what you already have, life begins to give you more presence, more clarity, more calm. So before this moment ends, take a breath, close your eyes, and whisper, thank you. Now tell me in the comments, what's one small thing you're grateful for today that your anxious mind usually ignores?